This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys, quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Get It Done Guy listener Andrew writes in, I'm very curious about how you manage your address book. I've got way too many contacts now and it's becoming unmanageable, not to mention trying to manage contacts across my personal and work emails, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. What do you use, Get It Done Guy? Handling contacts used to be done with a little black book where we would inscribe the names and addresses and phone numbers of our friends. We would add little code symbols to tell us who was nice or who was naughty or who was so desperate that they would even go with me to the high school dance. The book would fill up and then we would copy it into a new book by hand. We might even accidentally forget to copy certain entries. All my exes may live in Texas, but I wouldn't know because they didn't make the cut. The computer age put our little black book online, so now we could search and we could print, we could group our contacts and stuff like that. And we could add names forever. Never had to get rid of one. Life was good. Well, then networks appeared. So now we could share contacts with our assistant, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our spousal equivalent, and or polyamorous family unit. Life was even better, except that sometimes we forgot that we had also just shared the notes that we had only intended for ourselves. Notes like, Leslie is a total bore, so never ever schedule long meetings. Oops. Then the Palm Pilot appeared, and that let us synchronize our contacts between our desktop and our handheld. Life was pretty much perfect, but then came the internet and smartphones, and for a few brief shining moments, we synchronized our smartphones and our contact books over the internet, and then every frickin' website in existence decided that it wanted to become the center of our world of contacts. Now it's a mess. But all is not lost. You can still straighten things out, and here's how. Use a single master book. I just returned from a 3-week trip to California where I caught up with dozens of friends and completely missed several others. Why? Because my friends had profiles on different social networks that hadn't been updated. They figured I would magically know whether I should find their latest information on Facebook or LinkedIn or Plaxo or CardScan or Outlook or Yahoo or whatever profile that they just happened to use the most and updated the most. Arg. Choose a single place to keep your master address book and have your own copy of people's information there. When you hear that someone is moved, immediately copy their information into your master contacts book. It's way easier to try to keep your address book up to date when you hear of changes than to try to figure out on the fly which of a dozen different online profiles of your friends is the right one. Also, you want your address book on your desktop. Windows or Mac, your desktop address book integrates with your email and calendar. So that way you get automatic completion of email addresses and people's names. And plus, by keeping a local copy of everyone's information, you'll be able to reach them even if your internet access goes down or if the social network data gets scrambled. Use a program to merge social networks. On the Mac and the iPhone, I use Cobook. That's Cobook. Cobook links my social networking sites to my desktop. So it pulls the contact information from whatever current information they have on social networks, and it gives me a composite view of a contact's information along with my local information and whatever is out in the cloud. So that way I can see all of it in one place, and I can decide which to use or import the appropriate stuff to my desktop contacts book. Record limited information for each person. When you have too many points of contact, it's hard to know which to use when, so keep your contact system as simple as possible. Don't record all of a person's information in your local contact book. For a work-only contact, get their work phone number and work email address only. Also, find out who to contact inside their firm if they leave someday and you need to get to their replacement. If it's someone you also have a personal relationship with, well, get their non-work info, but only one phone number and one email address. Ask them which of their dozen email addresses they check most often and record that. Also, record any email address that's likely to be permanent, like a college alumni email address. Get their cell number, as it's likely to stay the same even if they move or switch carriers. Scan your book and your networks before traveling. Before you travel, search your address book for everyone in the cities that you'll be passing through. Because people also check in when they're traveling or because they may have moved without telling you, okay, go ahead and check the two main social networks, Facebook and LinkedIn. On Facebook, just type into the search box, friends who live near, and then type the name of the city that you'll be visiting. I would have seen my old friends if only I had typed in friends who live near San Francisco before I left. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit more difficult. Click the tiny word advanced next to the search bar at the top, and then click on the text location in the middle column. The word add will appear. That's ADD. Click that and then add locations. In this case, I added Greater San Francisco Bay. This will show you all the contacts in that city, but not necessarily in the surrounding areas. And that's why in every contacts notes field, I put the name of the metropolitan area that they're closest to. If I just search for San Francisco, then contacts in Menlo Park, Redwood City, San Jose, and Black Rock City won't pop up because they don't have the words San Francisco in them, and I didn't search for all those cities individually. So instead, I use a contacts notes field to tag all of my contacts with a San Francisco tag. Once I've put the San Francisco tag, now I just search for San Francisco, and people pop up even if the city in their address field isn't San Francisco. I also type in hashtags like #party for people who I want to invite to parties, or #games day for people that I want to come play board games, and of course #zombie food for people that I don't want to come play board games. Invite lists become a cinch. All I do is search for the relevant hashtag. Print a hard copy. Sometimes your smartphone might run out of power or get stolen, or your cell phone company deactivates the line due to a clerical error and simultaneously locks your phone so you can't even get to the contacts book. Yes, really. That's why I recommend always printing out your travel contacts on paper with at least names, email addresses, and phone numbers before you leave on a trip. And every so often, print your entire contact list on paper. If you don't know anyone's contact information by heart, and who does anymore, you want a way to find it in case of an emergency. When the zombie apocalypse arrives, your next-door neighbors will be undead, but your cell phone will be dead. You'll need to call your friends to come heroically to your rescue, and since your phone is out of power, a paper backup is only sensible. This advice also applies to earthquakes, tsunamis, and One Direction concerts. Prune your book. Since electronic contact lists can grow forever, get in the habit of pruning as you go. When you notice a name you don't recognize, move it into a contacts folder called deletion candidates, and then every so often, delete every contact in that folder, and don't feel guilty about it. They haven't called you in ages, the meanies, so there's no reason that you should call them. Do this a little at a time in your daily browsing of your contacts book. I tried going through my entire 3,600 person contact list at once. It took hours. Andrew, I hope this helps you tame your address book. To summarize, use a single address book, merge in data from social networks, and try to limit yourself to one phone number and one email address per contact. Scan your social networks before traveling, take a paper copy on trips, and prune your contacts as you go. Hopefully, the chaos that's currently in existence will then not drive you crazy. And by crazy, of course, I mean zombie apocalypse. This is Steve Robbins. Please submit questions to getitdone@quickanddirtytips.com. I help high-performing, successful people make their dreams come true. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com, SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.